What's up, guys? How you doing? Doug here, Recording Connection Audio Institute. We're going to get ready to start the mix assignment. This is a progressive assignment, so this is mix theory. So you'll just be going over basic concepts, getting things ready for the mix. In this portion of the assignment, you'll add a cue next chapter, add compression next chapter, and so on and so forth, and it builds. But don't worry, the book tells you, every step of the way what you should be doing. So without further ado, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the assignment downloaded. And the song that I'm going to choose for this, I'm going to work through this fairly quickly because there's really not a lot to do here. And you've already done some of these things, hopefully. So I'm going to download the media. And while that's downloading, I'm going to come back over here and get a reference. Okay, so that is a good representation of kind of where we want to shoot for. So it looks like that's downloaded now. First thing I'm going to do is start a new Pro Tools session. And it really doesn't matter what version of Pro Tools you use. The version of Pro Tools is not going to make a difference here. So we're going to go to blank session, and then we're going to name it with the convention that we were asked to name. So it is My Name, Chapter 12, Mix Assignment. All right, so here's our session window. Now we need to get audio into the session, navigate to where we just downloaded. Now the thing that's to remember about this is because these are all stereo tracks, and if you'll take a quick look at this diagram, this is kind of the plot map for how this particular session was recorded. Also, keep in mind this is a classical song, so it's not going to be overly compressed. It's not going to be, we're not going to do some of the, you'd approach a classical song a little bit differently than you'd approach, a top 40s hip hop song. You definitely are not looking for to enhance the bass in this song. What you want is to preserve the natural recording. So a lot of the, especially in this genre of music, a lot of the stress in a situation like this falls on whoever tracked the session. The mix is fairly simple and fairly straightforward. It's just finding the right blend, but there is an ear to it. So we'll take a look at just doing this very, very quickly. Another thing to remember is because these are named, choir side left and right. Now that you've seen the plot map there, the Pro Tools, I don't know if it'll happen on this one, but Pro Tools sometimes likes to just place them in stereo tracks for you. That's kind of not what I want on this session, and you can, if that's what you want, by all means, work that way. But I would prefer to have more control over the volumes, and I'll tell you why. Going back to this plot map, if you look at the way this session was recorded, we have two sets of stereo mics that are on this huge choir. Okay, I think this choir was like 140 women or something like that. It was just a huge choir. So the way a choir is set up is this section right here would be sopranos, this section right here would be altos, and then you have with women, it was a tenor bass, but it's second alto, second soprano. So that's the lower regions of the frequency spectrum there. So because these are laid out this way, I may want to pan those mics to mimic this to get the same type of blend. Or if there's problem areas and things like that, I may want to mix to avoid singling out any one single part and maybe try to get the whole thing. So the cool thing about this other session, this session is that it was recorded in a beautiful hall. I mean, this hall was just absolutely amazing. And so the engineer had the frame of mind to set up room mics and get the natural reverb in the room, so we can just use that natural reverb. It's beautiful sounding. So we're going to go ahead and get these set up. So look, it went ahead and put everything in stereo tracks. So first thing I'm going to want to do is get rid of that. So split these to mono. So now I have each track individually. Let me see here. So here is my stereo track. Let me get rid of that. So LR, here's my stereo track. I can get rid of all of those. See if there's a faster way to do this. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this looks right, and everything is panned 100% left and right. So again, this is going to be very, very simple, but just for purposes of this assignment, we are going to color code everything. So my left and my right, left side are going to be red. My left and my right side are going to be green. Orchestra, we're going to do purple. And my room mics are going to be green because I like green. Actually, we'll make them sky blue. Okay, now that everything's separate. Now, we can actually do the same for this. Okay, so now everything's nice and color coded. I also need a master fader, and we'll open up a couple of aux tracks just in case. Okay, so now let's run through it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start entering on markers. So as you can see here, classical songs you're going to label a little bit differently. It doesn't have necessarily the same kind of song structure. So there's a lot of key changes and variations and interludes and reprises of a chorus or something like that. So I just put these indicators here to kind of stuff I would remember. I don't know that it's honestly musically correct or anything like that. It's just things that are going to stick out to me, so I can navigate quickly through the session if need be. So now that I've got those all set up and I've just listened, what I can do is I can come back in here and I can just get my basic levels and panning. And I'm watching my master fader here. Do I want to see where my overall level is? And I can already tell you I want to come down a little bit. I'm going to option click my master back up in my aux terminal. And I'm going to turn my monitor level up so that my mind's not telling me, hey, this needs to be louder. All right, so let's go through and solo some of these tracks so we can kind of isolate the parts of the choir where they are. Okay, so it seems like the sopranos are over in this section here. So I'll keep that in mind. Now, you know what? I don't want to keep on starting through the whole song all the way over again. So what I can do is I can go ahead and use my choir marker. And I want to hear the full choir while I'm doing this. So I see that's marker number 3. So if I go... Now my cursor's at marker number 3, and I don't have to be in the edit window to do that. I just wanted you guys to see that. So now already my markers have saved me a little bit of time. See? Okay, so this is where my lower singers are, and it seems like there's less, I don't know if there was less of them or what it is, but I can already tell you that I'm going to want more of that level in the mix. So what I'm going to try to do now is just get a balance between the singers. Now I'm going to pan it similar to the way it was on stage. To be honest with you, I don't know that works 100%. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group. And that's Command G. Make this easy on myself. I've got a balance here. I've got a pan structure that kind of works. So I'm going to go ahead and create a group, and we're going to name this Choir Direct. And honestly, this is just the way I'm doing this session. You don't have to do it this way. But that way, everything's grouped together. So if I want less singers, everything's going to stay proportionate now that I've got a decent blend between the instruments. And, honestly, because the mics it seems like they're kind of close on the singers. And when that happens, in a choir situation, you want to get as much room as possible. But if you'll notice, there wasn't much room between the choir and the orchestra, right? So the problem with that is you hear some of the singers more clearly than you hear other singers. And unfortunately, the ones that you hear a little bit more clear are not the best singers, it seems, in this situation. So the problem with that is it makes a whole choir sound bad. But if you pull it back a little bit and get a little bit more blended, a little bit more of that room, then all of a sudden it starts to gel together a little bit, and you'll hear that as it kind of slowly comes together here. And that's without any processing. So we can carve some frequencies out later on too to help, kind of improve that blend. Okay, now what we're not hearing is any... Okay, so let's just solo these. We're definitely going to want to keep those hard panned, and I will leave those there. And again, I'm going to group these. Oops. That way, when I move these, they all stay the same. Same story here. Well, I guess I'll solo it for you guys so you can see. We're going to keep these hard pan left and right. So really nice, beautiful sounding reverb. Natural cutoff. You hear the natural high frequency roll off there. I mean, just perfect. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's group these together. Command G again, the key command for that. So this is a very simple session, you know, not a lot of work to it, but to be honest with you, it's still very tricky. So we're going to need more of that room. I want to hear a lot more of that room. So I can already tell you I'm going to want to automate that right there, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So I'm just navigating through my markers right now. So it sounds like a good balance. We haven't even put any processing on. So there it is. That's all you have to do for this assignment. You get the things organized, get things panned, get the levels set, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. You know, you'll turn that into your mentor, and you don't even have to turn it into us yet, but you definitely want to show your mentor the progress you're making and things like that. Again, as always, if you need help with any of this stuff, go ahead and send an email request via the portal, or give us a call for free tutoring. It's the number on your screen here. So that's it for now, guys. Have a good one.